Nearly 3 years ago, Honda introduced the all-new 6th generation CR-V to America, and they made big improvements in terms of the design, the technology, the refinement, but above all, the fuel efficiency, with Honda going all in on the CR-V hybrid. Now, of course, the hybrid has always been a great addition to the CR-V lineup, but one trim level that Honda has been missing has been a more off-road oriented version. So for 2026, Honda is finally introducing the first ever CR-V TrailSport. This model essentially takes some of the off-road capability that the company has applied to the larger Passport and Pilot and applied it to the best-selling CR-V, and as you can see, it brings even more capability to this model. So today we're actually out here at a studio in Torrance, California to finally take a look at the new CR-V TrailSport. So now that we're doing so, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look. Now, one of the big upgrades with the all-new 6th generation CR-V is the fact that Honda again went all in on hybrids. In fact, the company claims that over 50% of the total CR-V sales in America have been the hybrid models. So not surprisingly, the TrailSport model actually comes standard with that powertrain. As you can see, it's the same 2-liter, 2-motor hybrid system that we've seen in other CR-V models. It makes the same 204 horsepower and 247 pound-feet of torque. It all goes out through an electronic CVT transmission, and Honda's real-time 4-wheel drive system is going to be standard. Honda says that every 4-wheel drive version of the CR-V essentially gets revised traction management this year. That's going to help it, of course, put the power down to the wheel that has the most grip while braking the wheel that's slipping. The company wasn't ready to talk about the fuel economy figures of this specific model, but we do know that the regular CR-V hybrid versions get around 40 in the city and 34 on the highway, about 37 combined. That's an all-wheel drive version. Of course, the TrailSport will come standard with all-wheel drive. I imagine this model will go down a little bit in terms of the efficiency because of the all-terrain tires, but we'll know that number as we get closer to the on-sale date. Now, in terms of the range, I remember the regular CR-V hybrid version can do well over 500 miles of range. I would expect this model to do something similar. While towing capacity should be around the same 1,000 pounds, with curb weight figures going in at just under 4,000 pounds. So it's not the heaviest vehicle in the class, but again, the hybrid version does add a couple hundred pounds of weight compared to the gas-only models. If you guys don't want the hybrid model, you cannot get the gas-only powertrain in the TrailSport. You have to step down to an LX or an EX or an EXL trim level. But let's go ahead and close up the hood here and talk about the exterior styling, because as you can see, this model here for 2026 did get a couple of small changes to the exterior design, but there are a couple of unique aspects here for the TrailSport. First of all, this color is called ash green metallic. It's a new color that we first saw on the all-new Passport. It goes really well with the lines of the CR-V. You can see this model essentially starts life as a sport trim level, so it has the sport-specific grille, which has lots of gloss black with these fairly large openings. The big Honda logo, of course, front and center, that houses the radar sensors for the Honda sensing system. There's a TrailSport badge there in the grille, and then you can see the front bumper looks pretty similar to the Sport. However, Honda has added some kind of darker matte gray accents here to the front splitter design, along with this kind of gloss black area here. In terms of the ground clearance, Honda didn't mention any improvements here. Also, there are no skid plates, but all-wheel drive versions of the CR-V have always had around 8.2 inches of ground clearance, so I suspect this should be similar. All models also continue to have their full LED headlights with a reflector-style LED low and high beam, LED daytime running lights, and LED turn signals. No fog lights in the vehicle, but I have to say the CR-V's design has always been a handsome look to me. I really love this design when it first came out 3 years ago, and I think the TrailSport model takes it to the next level, especially in this ash green color. I do kind of wish that Honda would have made some more detailed changes like they have like on the Passport TrailSport, for example, with the amber illuminated daytime running lights, but again, this is just kind of like a mild refresh. Now, moving around the side profile of the vehicle, you can see the CR-V is kind of the perfect size for a compact SUV at 184.8 inches long with a 106.3 inch long wheelbase. You can see the wheels on this model are also unique, and they're specific for the TrailSport. They're an 18-inch kind of shark gray double 5-spoke design. Honda's also made some, design touches here that kind of give it a little bit more capable or a little bit more durableness. You can see the tires. These are a Continental Cross Contact all-terrain tire on a 235 by 60 R18. They have also kind of inset the valve stem over here on this little area, so that's going to help to prevent the wheels from getting damaged if you're off-roading. And I have to say, the all-terrain tires actually make a big difference compared to the street tires that you get on the regular versions. It kind of goes well with the unpainted cladding that you see, although I'm surprised Honda didn't want to make this a little bit more aggressive. But again, it's a CR-V. It's designed mostly for on-road, but with that increased capability of the tires, it should again improve the off-road capability of this car. Now you can see, being based off of the Sport trim, you have these black painted side mirrors with integrated turn signals. No 360 camera on this trim. In fact, Honda still doesn't offer that on the CR-V at any price point, at least here in America. There is a new change this year with the gloss black along the window trim that goes well with the gloss black for the door handles and the gloss black for the aerodynamic roof rails. A sunroof is also standard, along with this accessory you can get from the dealer. This has always actually been offered previously, but it looks really good, of course, with the ruggedness, the extra rugged design of the TrailSport model to kind of show what the CR-V is capable of. And then moving over to the rear, you can see the look is pretty similar. This taillight design still kind of reminds me of some Volvo models, which is not a bad thing. It's kind of a combination of an LED and an incandescent. The turn signal back here is an incandescent, but everything else is an LED design element. You can see Honda also made a couple of changes here. The badging for this area here is now gloss black, which is also echoed on the Sport Touring trim as well to the left of this vehicle. And then there's also a TrailSport badge back here to kind of let everybody know that this model is, again, the more off-road oriented version. And the spoiler back here also kind of has like a little bit more of a pronounced look to it. Along with the rear bumper, you can see also gets that kind of matte gray design with the exposed exhaust tips, which again are kind of exclusive to the hybrid version of this car. Now in terms of the cargo capacity, Honda is still claiming near best in class space back here with the seats up. As you can see, you have around just over 36 cubic feet of storage space, which is again a really healthy amount. There's also a little bit of storage off to the side. Unfortunately, this floor does not lift up on the hybrid models because that's kind of where the battery pack takes up some space underneath the floor, but it's still a really nice flat load floor. And if you want to fold down the seats, Honda makes it pretty easy. You kind of have to go here and fold that down from that angle, but you can see the floor is not completely flat. It's almost flat. There's a little bit of a raised area, but you get a total of around 76 cubic feet of storage space, which definitely puts this near the top of the class. So it's one of the reasons why the CR-V is so popular, is due to its extreme practicality with all the cargo space that you have. Now moving on to the interior of the 2026 CR-V TrailSport, you can see the exterior changes were pretty minimal, and that kind of carries over here for the interior. Honda has obviously made some changes here to kind of let you know that you have a special off-road oriented model. First of all, this being based off of the Sport trim means you do get cloth seats. Now thankfully, the cloth seats are heated. And you also have an 8-way power for the driver's side and a 4-way power for the passenger side. No memory seats. Again, those are features that they're going to reserve for the Sport L or for the Sport Touring trim. But the TrailSport model does have its own unique design here with the kind of unique cloth with the contrast orange stitching, the TrailSport embossed into the actual head restraint. It definitely makes the interior look nicer, but I hope you guys like a dark interior, because Honda says on the TrailSport you can only get it with a black interior, which is a little bit of a shame. They do offer a lighter color on the Passport TrailSport, so it would have been nice to see it on this trim. Now getting inside, you can see with around 8.2 inches of ground clearance, it has a really nice easy step in height. As I shut the door, the door has a solid sounding thunk. Remember, this is built off of their latest global light truck architecture. And you can see the rest of this interior looks pretty similar to the last CR-V that we were in. However, Honda has made some small changes here. First of all, the infotainment system. All versions of the CR-V now get a 9-inch touchscreen. So previously, if you guys go in for the LX or the EX or the Sport trim, you had a smaller 7-inch display which didn't have wireless phone connectivity. Now all of them have that, of course. You can see Honda still throws in a volume knob, which is nice. This screen is basically their latest software, although if you guys look at the Sport Touring trim, that actually now adds Google built in, which is technically the latest software version that we've seen in the new Civic. On this trim here, you can see it doesn't have the Google built in, but it does have, of course, the wireless phone connectivity. And if you guys go for a Sport L or an EXL trim and up, you're going to have the fully digital 10.2-inch cluster in the instrument panel. Now previously, Honda only had like a half digital, half analog. It was a 7-inch display. That is still standard on the LX and the EX trim, but on the higher trims, you get a fully digital cluster, which is definitely a nice upgrade. That was something I complained about in the pre-refresh model. The steering wheel, as you can see, hasn't really changed. This model also includes contrast orange stitching here. You have a heated steering wheel, which is definitely a nice touch, along with those 3-level heated seats. Unfortunately, if you guys are looking for ventilated seats, it's still not available on the CR-V at any price, which I find to be a little disappointing. I think it's a feature they should have added. The steering wheel has a nice tilt telescoping arrangement, so you can kind of get a really nice comfortable driving position. In terms of the material quality, you have soft touch injection molded plastic on the upper door panels. There's kind of like this textured piano black trim here. There's also some ambient orange LED lighting that's new for the TrailSport model, which kind of goes with the orange cross stitching. It's nice and padded here where you'd rest your elbows. Window controls, they feel high quality. They are one touch up down for the front. However, the rears are not a one touch which is something that you might find on some of its competitors. You can see the dashboard also has a pretty straightforward design. It has a soft touch injection molded plastic here. It has almost like this honeycomb mesh pattern here where it almost looks like a continuous dash vent, one continuous vent, but it's actually separate ones. More of that kind of interesting hexagonal textured piano black plastic here. You have some nice satisfying click noises when you adjust the climate control for the dual zone climate control function, along with really high quality feeling buttons. You can see a wireless phone charging pad. That's standard equipment on every trim of the CR-V. So even the base LX gets the wireless phone charging pad and the 9-inch display, which I think is a nice upgrade. Your drive mode selector is here. The Sport Touring trim now adds an individual mode, which is new for 2026. You have a traditional shifter here for the eCVT, and then the paddles here can control the regen braking for the actual drivetrain, which is rare to find a hybrid with actual regen braking. Push button start, as you can see, is also included. I don't have the key to show you that, but you can see it's in the usual spot. It glows red, which is definitely a nice touch. And then down here in the rest of the center console area, you can see nice sized cup holders, some good storage solutions, and then you can see the center console is nice and padded. If you open that up, it offers a pretty deep storage compartment, which is nice. And then your two USB-C charging ports are located here, along with an actual 12-volt power outlet. I also forgot to mention the TrailSport model also includes a power liftgate, which is actually the first time that Honda is including a power liftgate with a model that has cloth seats, which, by the way, these seats are pretty comfortable and supportive. They have some nice bolsters to kind of hold you in place. Above me, the TrailSport also comes with a sunroof, which is a traditional sunroof, no pano roof, unfortunately. If you're looking for that feature, the CR-V is one of the few vehicles in this class that doesn't offer it. You do have some LED map lighting along with some orange ambient lighting in this vehicle, which is nice. And then this trim also adds an additional 2 speakers to the sound system, so it's an 8-speaker Honda branded audio system. If you want the 12-speaker Bose, you still have to step it up to the Sport Touring version. So overall, the interior changes are very minor. I'm actually a little disappointed that Honda didn't want to add features like a heads-up display, panoramic sunroof, or cooled seats, at least to the Sport Touring trim, but I think that there are some nice touches in here. And I also like the fact that they've made the larger 9-inch display with a wireless phone charging pad standard on all trims. But let's go ahead and hop into the backseat area, because this is where the CR-V in particular offers some of the biggest legroom figures in this segment. And first of all, these seats, as you can see, they're kind of the same deal as the front seats. They have the contrast orange stitching with this kind of interesting pattern insert here in the center. And these seats also give you the ability to kind of fold them flat, which you can do here, which still creates a little bit of a hump. But the beauty about these rear seats is they have several different positions where you can literally recline the seat, and you can recline it a ridiculous amount. So if you're looking to get some comfort in the backseat area on those longer trips, the CR-V is one of the few vehicles that offers that kind of adjustability. You can't slide this seat forward and back, but you don't really need to because there's no third row. Now getting back here, you can see the space is plentiful. As I shut the door, Honda says that this generation has around 41 inches of rear seat legroom. 41 inches is definitely near the top of the class. It's a solid like 4 to 5 inches more versus most of its rivals. You can see, unfortunately, the door panel materials here are downgraded. They're hard touch plastic. You do have some more of that glossy textured piano black plastic here. It's nice and padded here where you rest your elbows. There's also a silver accented door handle here. And then in terms of the space down here, you can see you have an almost completely flat floor, which is nice. And by the way, these rubbered floor mats are also standard equipment on the TrailSport, which is good for those of you who plan to go off-roading. This trim also includes rear seat air vents. You have 2 USB-C charging ports, along with a nice little storage cubby here. But if you're looking for heated rear seats, sadly, I don't think Honda offers that on the CR-V, but you do have a nice armrest here that folds down, gives you 2 cup holders. There's also a pretty decent amount of headroom space. As you can see, there's like a little bit of a carve out here. For somebody my height, I can get comfortable back here. I can also easily cross my legs. So this big ginormous back seat is definitely one of the reasons why the CR-V continues to do well in the compact SUV space. Now here in America, the compact SUV segment continues to be the best-selling segment in the States, right, of course, behind the full-size pickup truck segment. And the CR-V has always been number 2, right behind the Toyota RAV4. In fact, the company had their best sales year ever last year with just over 405,000 units sold. It's the first time that Honda has broken the 400,000 unit barrier here in America, and it's pretty easy to see why. This latest version of the CR-V is at the top of its game, especially if you look at the hybrid variant, offering near top of the class fuel efficiency, offering really good power, a really smooth powertrain combination, and a design that truly does look a lot better versus the previous generation. It definitely makes this vehicle a lot more appealing, along with having an interior that feels very comfortable, very refined, and offers near class or top of the class in terms of space. Now, of course, what Honda was missing was the off-road oriented TrailSport model. And while this vehicle obviously isn't going to have the off-road capability of something like a Jeep, it certainly makes this vehicle a lot more capable. The improvements that they've made to the exterior design make this car look better. The green color certainly looks good with all the black accents, and I really like the updated wheels, which, by the way, Honda is also throwing in updated wheels for the for the EX, the EXL, and the Sport trim, while this trim level here, the Sport Touring, has the same 19-inch wheel that's carried over along with the base LX. Now, if you guys are looking to get your hands on the new 2026 CR-V, Honda says they should be arriving at dealerships sometime this spring, and they haven't announced final pricing just yet, but we can kind of speculate because the base version of the CR-V for 2025 starts at just over $30,000. Honda essentially says this model, this TrailSport, will kind of slot between the Sport and the Sport L, which, if you look at the price of those versions for 2025, are around $34,000 for the Sport and around $37,000 for the Sport L. So I would estimate when this model comes out, it'll probably be in the $35,000 to $36,000 price range, which is actually a pretty good number to be at, because remember, this model should be comparing with cars like the Toyota RAV4 Woodland Edition. There's also the Subaru Forester Wilderness, and then there's like a Tucson XRT. So there's a lot of off-road oriented versions showing up in this class of vehicle, which, again, with Honda saying that the TrailSport model accounting for about 20% of sales for their other models, I would imagine that this model here, the addition of it, is certainly going to make the CR-V even more appealing. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my very detailed overview on the 2026 Honda CR-V in the Sport Touring and in the new TrailSport trim. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.